Namaskar. Welcome back to TATKAAR-2023. Now let's begin with our second session for today. And this will be an interactive session with Mr. Gerhard Stangl. A big round of applause, please. Before moving ahead, let me present a brief biodata of Mr. Gerhard Stangl. Sir is a doctor of osteopathy in London. He has studied at the British School of Osteopathy in London and also has a clinic in Buckinghamshire and have worked there full-time for over 40 years. Many of us might have felt a little weird after knowing about the interactive session by an osteopath, and that too in a Kathak workshop, isn't it? So why has this lecture been made a part of this workshop? What is its importance, especially in the life of dancers? So let me just tell you what exactly is osteopathy. Osteopathy concentrates on the correct alignment of spine and joints, working in harmony with the muscular structure. And we all know that healthy joints are important for a dancer, and because they influence a dancer's mobility, flexibility, strength, and minimize the risk of dance injuries. Developing correct posture and alignment is essential to reduce injuries, pain, and diseases, allowing the body to move freely without restriction. Osteopathic assessment and treatment and consultation plays a vital role for the dancers. So, now I request Mr. Gerhard Stangl, to kindly come on stage and begin with today's second session. Let us please give him a big round of applause. Today's second session, and it's about how to deal with physical problems, injuries with osteopathy therapy. So, sir, please come. एक बार फिर से जोरदार तालियां.
Hello. I'm very honored to be here in this beautiful university. Michael. You on? Yes, right. Put it down. Hello. I'm very pleased to be here and honored to be invited to this university. It's beautiful and the town is very beautiful. Okay, a little story beforehand. So in December, we planned to come to India. So my wife said, okay, maybe you need to speak to a couple of students about your injury. And I said, okay, one-to-one is fine. So for 40 years, I've been running away from speaking to the public. Not everybody's a public speaker. Anyhow, so last night I found out, here you are, I have to speak to you. Kajal's lecture was so riveting, I thought I could go out and make some notes. Well, there are no notes. So, in true Indian fashion, I'll have to compromise. Or not compromise, no, that's not the right word. Improvise. Okay, so the only little notes I've got is in my phone. So you know a little bit about osteopathy. So the major part is structure governs function. So if the structure isn't correct, the body can't function properly. And okay, so dancers have maybe a little advantage because they move the body all the time. But if I look at a sitar player or a tabla player, they'll just have to sit all the time. And with that, obviously you can get problems. And, you're sitting cross legs all the time, but then you get out, you slip and so on and so forth. So in most cases, it makes not much difference. You move around, you feel a bit stiff, and then you get going. But if you're in the same position for too long, and it doesn't get better when you actually get up, then you can get a restriction in the joint. So osteopathy believes that every joint needs to work perfectly, because through every joint goes a nerve, an artery, and a vein, and then it's covered as well. So if you keep on compressing that, it will cause a problem. So I think most of you have heard of sciatica, which is pain down the leg. So as you keep on pressing it, it squeezes the sciatic nerve. So that's the kind of the worst kind, and eventually you can't even move your leg. So we have to do something before that. And that's where stretching, exercise comes into it. So, structure. Right. Well, we're speaking to quite a lot of young people here. It's been just after lunch, so I want you all to stand up for 1 minute to do a little test. Okay? So what I want you to do is, when you're standing up, see if you can lift your toes up. Okay? Then come forward a little bit and see how much your toes have to jump in. Yeah? Then go back again. See if you can lift your toes again. Okay. This time, come forward. And then when you go backwards, don't concentrate on your toes. Concentrate what goes on in your stomach. So as you come backwards, you suddenly feel this tension in the stomach. Okay? So, okay, you can sit down again. So the body needs to be in balance. In most cases, the back muscles are way, way stronger than the front muscles. So the front muscles are always a little bit weaker. They're the ones which actually are much harder to make stronger, I guess. So as soon as you go forward, your pelvis tilts. Then you think you want to have a better posture. Then you're going to do that. So that already starts pressurizing on that. Now, it's no problem if we do it for just a few days, a few months or whatever, but if you keep on doing that, this is the posture you learn. So I've learned through Kathak, you can't stand like that, or ballet, you have to be correct. So, now, what is my next step? So there is a big importance between all the muscles having the right balance. So every action, I'm sure you've kind of learned that. So here is the biceps. The biceps is working. Most people think this is just it. But in order for the biceps to work, triceps has to let go. Triceps isn't just flopping around. Tricep has to let go as the biceps work. So this is the same one here. But if we keep on learning the wrong posture, suddenly it goes. So, again, mobile phones, handies. So in Germany, they coined a phrase, and they said the 45-degree neck. So there you are, you look at your handy, this is there, so you play with it, you look at it, and then you need to look up, and you do that. So you've forgotten to come up. And if you look at people, that's it. They're going to get stuck in that position. So, right. So the balance of the body is really the most important part, and that's why exercise, yoga, dance is really important, because in all of my years of working, the major problem is some muscles are too weak, some muscles are too strong. And I don't know, I mean here maybe not too many people go to the gym, but in England a lot of people do go to the gym. And so what happens there, if you don't get an instructor, if you don't get somebody telling you what to do, what happens is you do the things you like doing. You know, you want to lift this, you want to do your biceps, you do that. But you forget, or you don't do the things you don't like doing. We all like that. You know, if you don't like running, you don't run. You do other things. So then the body slowly gets out of balance. Hence, I really think it's, you know, doing dance, doing yoga, keeping your body busy in other ways is essential. So, however, on top of all of that is our mind. And our mind can control everything. As you know, you get stressed, you end up like that already anyway. That's a simple thing. But stress is not just in your shoulders. Stress is in your back, stress is in your gut, stress is everywhere. So you have to have, and it's been told anyhow, you have to have a healthy mind as well. If you don't have a healthy mind, a healthy attitude, things go wrong. So posture-wise, a lot of people kind of stand on one side, which overall isn't a problem, except very few people then swap over to the other side. So if you're always on one side, you're always going to get problems. So your gluteal muscles are hurting, your hamstrings are hurting, and then you get into trouble. Hamstrings, and all the dancers know, you need to stretch them. So India is slightly better because you do your poses, but if you can't touch your toes, and you force yourself to touch your toes, the hamstrings will always fight with the back. So you bend down, and if you can't go any further, if you push it, hamstrings don't want to go, but the back goes. So if you want to have a good back for a long time, make sure you can touch your toes. So your hamstrings are stiff, then you're in trouble.
Can we ask everyone to touch the toes?
Okay. Who can touch the toes? Right? Let's stand up and touch the toes.
Then you can feel. Everyone can come in the corridor.
Okay. And then slowly go. Yep, go down. So who can touch the toes without bending the knees?
Somebody is touching others.
Yeah. So, hands up who cannot touch the toes without bending the knees.
He's saying hands up those who can't touch the toes. If you can't touch the toes. अगर नहीं उठा सकते हैं, I mean पैर नहीं छू सकते तो हाथ उठाएं.
You can. Oh, you cannot, no. It should be more men than women overall. But yes, so the people who cannot touch the toes without bending the knees, this is cheating. They need to learn to do that, because it isn't just a hamstring, it's also the buttock muscles, and then, as I said, it's good for the back. So that's an important part. You got to learn to do that, because otherwise things get into trouble. Now, so I got some. So,
Please maintain silence.
this is my first time in India, and as we came here by taxi, the road. So, but I have learned a very important lesson there. So there I see a scooter, and there are 4 people on it. There's a child in the front, there's the father, there's another child, and then there's a mother behind, holding a basket. So, structure governs function. I look at that and I was aghast. I thought, how can that be? How can the man even think of not taking care? But when you look, and I don't know how many people have driven with scooters or whatever, bicycles, everybody, all the 4 people have to play their role in riding the bike. You know, if the boy goes in the front, does this, the whole bike goes out, or somebody moves. It has to be in harmony. Otherwise, they're going to crash. They're going to fall, you know, and there are potholes and everything as well. So even there on the road, it is important. Everything has to work just in balance, because otherwise it falls over. And that's happening a lot more in India than in Europe. Europe, no, well, you can only have 2 people on it, and you have to have a helmet, and you can't go too fast, and then. So yes, so there was an important lesson for me to learn that it kind of all has to work in harmony. And, well, take the sitar player, you know, his instrument needs to be tuned, to be in harmony. He needs to be comfortable sitting, but also he needs to have the right mindset to play the right music. And that's, again, it's the big harmony. I mean, my daughter is a professional violinist, so I've been through this journey when, okay, you buy your first violin, and no, we need a better one. And so we go up, and she learns more. And then you find out, okay, it's not just the violin, it's the strings. The strings are important. whatever, this type or that type. Okay, the strings. Oh, the bow. The bow has to be perfect as well, and there's lots of other things to go on with the bow. But, overall, the last thing then is, how does the person feel when they play? You've got to be in harmony. Otherwise, no good music comes out. And I think as it's called Kajal, there was a famous musician, and they had a master class. And in the master class, is Maxim Vengerov, and he was saying, well, you're only playing the notes. You can't just play the notes. You have to have your whole, you need to put your soul into it. Otherwise everything goes wrong. So that comes down to, again, structure governs function. If you sit there and you're uptight and you can't play, well, you get more uptight. So eventually you're not playing good music and people will walk out. So, animals. What are they? No, not squirrels. Squirrels. Okay. So, how many dancers are here? Hands up. Just the dancers. Yes. And then the rest of you are musicians. Yeah? Musician. Okay, so all right. So for musicians, as you know, it is really important because you sit a long time. So on a more anatomical level, when you pinch a nerve, and this is where osteopathy comes into it, it's called a facet lock. So this is when you're doing the wrong thing for too long. Eventually the facet locks, so you actually can't move it anymore. You're still, and I don't know how many people you know, but osteopathy is similar to chiropractic. When it gets too stiff, we do everything. All our feeling is through our fingers, so we don't use any other instrument. It gets too stiff. We need to give what's called a high velocity thrust. It's a crack to open up that part. And all of you have been getting up and moving around and suddenly feel your spine crack. So that is normal and that is fine, and that should happen all the time. If you hear the crack, you're already a little bit tighter than you should be. But if you sit for a while and you do that, then that's fair enough. If you, in perfect harmony, you don't feel anything. So when you feel the crack, you know you're not number two, so you move around, it opens up. When you don't feel the crack anymore, then you know something's getting stiffer. Like people kind of crack their hands all the time, so that is fine, but if you do it 50 times a day, you've got a problem. If you're a teenager, or 15, 16, it's kind of okay, but if you're more than 20, and you do it all the time, or you do the neck all the time, then your body's already imbalanced, and you need to do something to sort it out, because otherwise it goes on. So you can have that for maybe a month or 2 months or whatever, but if you keep on doing that, you get into trouble, because then that's what happens. The facet locks, and then you move around, and you're getting stiff. So, just normal posture. If you always stand like this, and I do have regularly patients coming in like that. You stand like this, and they come in with a headache or migraine. And then you find out, okay, the problem isn't down here. Nothing hurts down here, just stand like that. So, however, if you forever stay on one side, the neck has to adjust, and the neck has to balance, and And eventually, you get a problem somewhere totally different than you think you've got. And people are then surprised. You know, some people have maybe a verruca or some other, or an ankle problem, and that, again, can cause problems somewhere else. So, sticking with ankles, if you sprain your ankle, and you know, you've been dancing, you sprained your ankle. If your ankle doesn't get better within 2 or 3 months, you will start limping. And you ask, why are you limping? I say, well, I'm not limping. I said, you are limping. So the body muscle memory has already taken it down, and if you don't change that, it'll just stay there. So and that's an important part, to be aware that we reprogram ourselves all the time. And if we get the wrong program, it'll stay. So thankfully, if you do stretch, if you do regular exercise, your body can cope with that. But if you don't, then one thing starts off and this one thing turns into something else, you know. The verruca maybe turns into back pain, maybe turns into a neck pain, maybe then turns into some chronic migraine. And then, of course, you can't forget the abdomen. Anything in the back, most of the nerves which supply the abdomen, the digestion, also come from the back. So, now, what questions have you got? Because I want to be specific. I want to hear what you want to hear. Is there any specific questions you wanna ask apart from that? Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, we are all have a music background.
Yeah.
And, as a musician, like I've been playing guitar for so many years.
Yeah.
So we have to wear guitar, and a lot of people are here who play instruments are guitarists.
Yeah.
We have to sit for a long time.
Yeah.
So our body has to maintain a certain posture. So
Yeah.
over the time, it has a toll on our body.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I play guitar, I've been wearing guitar since a long time. So it has created a muscle imbalance on
Yeah.
the left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So are there certain things through which we can benefit? And if we play guitar, so that is also affecting our body. And similar things that have been shown on tabla or many other instruments.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why it is important to do something different than just play the guitar. Surely you will develop more muscles holding guitar up or whatever it is, but if you only do that and nothing else, your body will get out of balance. So you need to do some other exercise, whatever that is, isn't it? I mean, some people love swimming, some people just love yoga, or some people want to walk or go to the gym or whatever it is, but you can't put your body in one position and just do that and think it's okay. In fact, when you work with your body, if your body is more balanced, you're gonna play guitar much better than you did before, because you know you're not holding it like this. But of course, I mean, you are students here, so it is up to the teachers, it's up to the professors to tell you, okay, don't hold your shoulder up, don't stick your neck forward, or you know, keep your leg up, or whatever it is. It's the people who've already learned it before need to teach you how to play, or even how long to play. I mean, like with dance, you know, you can dance so much, but if you overdo it, you're going to get an injury. So it is, yet again, it is a balance. If you do too much, you get into trouble. So, are you doing any other exercise?
No, my physician advised me to do some exercise. I occasionally did it, but I am not usually. The pain begins in winter, or like if exertion is being there, then it only shows.
So why is it more in the winter? What do you think? Because you practice more, or? Most likely not. Why are people kind of worse musculoskeletal in the winter? Is because it's usually because they're colder. In the summer, especially here, nice and warm, so the more blood flow you've got through the muscles, the better it is. But you're still, with the guitar, you're working on some muscles, and you're creating a muscle memory with it, but you also need to then stretch them out, because otherwise they get stuck in that position. And as I said, and your overall performance will be not as good.
And another question, many of us here are students and we have to study, we use mobile phones, laptops, modern devices like that, and many problems like are emerging like cervical nowadays. People are getting, and even teenagers, we just lie down with a phone here, our posture is really wrong, even standing upright the posture is not right. So are there some suggestions or some ways to correct your posture?
Don't be too much on social media. It will be a big problem for the next coming years. Yeah, no, because we don't get, as I said, you stick your head forward, then you look up, people are walking around like that. So, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
After some time, our leg is numb. Yeah. Is there any exercise that can help?
Well, your leg will go numb because either you're pressing on a nerve, and then you get pins and needles as well, or you're just squeezing your blood supply. For you, the most important part is to occasionally do the opposite.
We can't do that.
No, not well. No.
So we have to sit like 2 to 4 hours. We have to work full day.
Yeah.
2 hours, 3 hours work. And so I'm asking that, is there any exercise that can help that not affect?
Yeah, this is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do the soft side.
So occasionally you need to see how much stiffer that is. We need to, there's always, in life, you always need to seek for balance. So here it is, well, I know you can't play guitar. In an ideal world, we should do this. We should play tennis with one hand and tennis with the other hand. But, it's not gone into the sitar well. So the numbness takes place because you're pressing, most likely you're pressing on a blood vessel. And for that, then you should actually move around a little bit. When you play, just shuffle around. Very well. Yeah. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Yes. So we've been sitting like that just for a few minutes. Go the other side, or when you're at home, doing something else, do the posture the other side. Because yet again, you'll have the muscle memory, and it doesn't get out. There's nothing wrong with sitting like that. When you get too numb, obviously you need to move around a little bit because you don't feel right. And if you don't feel right, you can't play right. But I would say the minimum you need to do is just go to the other side. Because I know you're sitting also on a hard floor. I mean, it's not, I can't suggest you sit on a nice memory foam because it won't work. But that would be my suggestion. Go the other side. Okay. Any more? You've got a question.
I'm not medical. So I'm not a medical person. So like you suggested, if we can't switch our toes, we've got to do it. But if you couldn't going to do any courses of how, what do child pose or what would help you to pose?
Okay.
What I mean?
Well, yeah, it's the same as bending down, touching your toes. You can't just go
Go crazy.
crack down and go mad with everything. If it's now playing music or doing yoga or dancing, you have to get into it. You've got to keep on doing it until you
So
can.
you mean you just got to keep going as far as you can go?
You've got to keep on, yeah.
Rather than
So,
child pose or, you know, it's just something that just helps the ward if you can't do it. And if you can't do it, you want to do it, and you force yourself.
I think when it comes to the hamstrings, it's just keep on doing it, and most people within 1 to 3 months can touch the floor. No problem.
You don't force it, you just do it.
You don't force it, but you need to do it regularly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can do it. So I can, but if you can't, you get cross and you want to do it. And I can do it. That's all very nice. But if you can't, you get an ass and you can't. And you go, I happen to be able to do it, but what if you can't? How do you make yourself learn to towards it?
Well, like with anything else, you know, you can't do a perfect dance. You need to practice bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. Do music, same thing.
Any more questions?
Any more? Yes, there is.
ऑनलाइन है तो बताओ
Any more? Let me see if yeah. Well, so I think the main message here is, especially when you're young, if you have a problem which lasts more than 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe a couple of months, you have the same problem all the time, you shouldn't ignore it. Because it will then get worse. You know, if your neck is always stiff and you keep, after 2 months you still keep on cracking a neck, then you need to think, okay, I need to go for a massage, I need to kind of change my posture, I need to do something else. It's that slowly getting worse in whatever it is, isn't it? If you hit the curb with the car, the alignment slightly goes out, you can still drive the car, but the more you drive the car, the more you're going to wear out the tire. The more you wear out the tire, the more you wear out the bearing, and so on and so forth, and the more you have to hold your steering wheel to keep it straight. So I think for young people, the main message is don't ignore things for too long, because eventually they will turn into something more, which you don't realize. I mean, I get that. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible and you never have any problems. But trust me, you have too many injuries. Later on in life, they'll say, "Hello, here I am. You've ignored me, and I'm going to get and haunt you." So don't ignore it. I think that's the. I mean, I know it is easy to say. Most of your problems will just go away, but if they don't go away, whatever it is, can even be hormonal problems. If they don't go away, deal with it. Because then you'll have less trouble later on in life. And as we can see with Kajal, there she is, dancing away, an inspiration to us all, really, with no injury. When you're up here, so that is, I think, that's the message, and that's my impromptu, not wanting to talk in front of people. So.
We have 2 more questions from our Facebook audience. The first one is asked by Praful Kumar, and it is, what in your opinion, or which food habits in your opinion can lead to healthy life?
Which?
Food habits.
Food habits. That's a whole box.
It has been asked by Praful Kumar.
Okay. Well,
He says that naturopathy says something different and Ayurveda says it differently. So what, as per you, we should eat to be
okay.
healthy?
So I'm translating that first to Europe, because I know you don't eat sausages. I don't think you do you? No. But it is a good example, and it's very simple. Your health is like the sausage machine. So if you put in bad ingredients, what are you going to get out at the end? You're not going to get a very beautiful, healthy sausage out of it. So it's what you put into your body that. So naturopathy usually is in the same way. So the more healthy food you can eat, the better it is. And I mean, even for India, even though the main thing is in India, the food is very fresh, and I'm really surprised about how lovely and fresh the food is. However, some of it might be organic, but you do also have a lot of pollution, so all the pollution goes in as well, so you will get that in the food too. So in an ideal world, the healthier or the more organic your food is, the better it will be. But yes, I mean, we all know.
There's a lot of variety in India, if we talk about food, right?
Yeah.
But even then, most of us, यहाँ बैठे हैं सभी लोग, we all get attracted to street foods and all, and that's why we are having many issues. Yes,
I would say less fried food.
yeah, less fried food, and our food should be a balanced one, a proper balance of proteins and vitamins and minerals, right?
Because in general, Indians are considered abroad, they get more heart problem because of the fried food.
Yes.
Ghee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially Punjabis.
It is.
Yes.
You are burning it, it's fine, but don't eat the things which you need to go out of the way to burn.
Yeah.
Don't consume it. You are not getting 2 hours for gym, so don't eat the stuff which you can't burn in for 2 minutes. Just eat something healthy. If you don't have 2 hours in the gym, don't eat that. Don't give excuses for your body to, oh no, मैं कल गया था, आज गया था, खा रहा हूँ रोज, जा रहा हूँ. So less food. ये मैं मतलब as your well-wisher, as your friend, as your national icon. Less fried food.
Less fried, and even मैम जैसे पंजाब में तो घी बहुत खाते हैं, मक्खन का खाओ, लेकिन हाँ दूध दही लीजिए, लेकिन वो भी अगर हम डायरेक्टली तीनों टाइम अपनी दाल सब्जी में डाल रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें वो वर्कआउट भी करना पड़ेगा.
खाने की दिक्कत नहीं, पचाने की दिक्कत.
पचाने की दिक्कत.
अगर खा लो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पर पचाओ उसको.
बिल्कुल सही.
एक्सरसाइज नहीं होती, मोबाइल पे रहते हैं ना.
Yes.
और
This
कंप्यूटर
is
पे
the
रहते
problem.
हैं, चक्की नहीं चलानी पड़ती.
किसी का मेटाबॉलिज्म अपने हिसाब से काम कर रहा है, वो भी देखना है कि मुझे खाना
खाए
चाहिए कि
ही
नहीं.
उतना संभल के, मतलब जितना कि आप कर सकते.
So
ऑयल को तो बिल्कुल बंद कर दीजिए.
So I think प्रफुल्ल कुमार जी को अपना रिस्पॉन्स मिल गया है, अपना रिप्लाई मिल गया है.
let me reply to that.
Okay.
With food, it's the same thing. It's with balance. So a little bit of fried food is fine, but fried food is, of course, more convenient than finding a carrot or an apple or an orange or whatever it is. So it's yet again it's balance. But I know Indians in Europe, and I think it's the same here. The biggest problem you face is diabetes. So that sugar is even more of a problem than fried food. But quite often they go together as well. So yes, as you rightly said, if you go to the gym for 2 hours, if you do something, yes, you can have a chai or two and some fried food. But if you don't, if you sit in front of a computer and you're hungry and are just starting to eat, if you don't burn it off, we have a problem. I mean, if you work in the field and you get going, you don't see fat people in the field because they can't. So yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Next question has been asked by Aman, and he wanted to know the importance of healthy body for a dancer.
Healthy body for a dancer. Well, a dancer is already on the way to a healthy body, isn't it? A dancer needs to also think about the healthy mind, because the teacher would tell about the healthy body. The same as always applies. You've got to practice regularly, you've got to eat the right food, and you have the right mindset. I think the mindset is an important part as a dancer. You've got to have your emotions there.
Be kind to others, dancers.
Dancers, be kind to others. That's important. You're quite right. Not just in front of the stage, but behind the stage. Behind the stage, there's a lot of other things going on there. And that might not be good.
That's it, sir. You
That's
can
it?
continue.
Okay.
Sir, one question.
Yes.
I am a sitar player
Yeah.
and I have to sit for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I practice for daily life? What yoga should practice for daily life?
What yoga?
Which exercise?
Which exercise
Which
should
exercise?
do for daily life?
You suggesting workout?
My suggestion would be the salute to the sun. It's simple, it's straightforward. Surya Namaskar. Yeah. You know, it doesn't take long, and it's done, and it covers most things. So if you've got
Because,
no other time,
We
then,
don't have much time to go gym and do all those things.
yeah, but it takes you 3 to 5 minutes, once, maybe twice a day. Is your health worth that? So I think that's the minimum. You don't need to do anything too special. I think just doing that keeps most things going. But if you don't do it,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
5 minutes a day, it's all you need, really. So it is. We don't need much. We don't need to go 2 hours to the gym. We don't need to do too long, but we need to do it in small amounts and regularly.
Thank you, sir.
Regularity is must. Right?
Regularity is must. It's not the time. It's much better to go 5 minutes every day than 40 minutes once a week.
Just as it is applied to रियाज,
Yeah.
डेली रियाज, तो उसी तरह से ही भोजन भी रोज अच्छे से खाना है, हेल्दी वाला, एंड एक्सरसाइज भी रोजाना करनी है. डेली एक्सरसाइज, डेली योगा, whatever suits you, and that's it. That's the secret of healthy life.
It is. And happiness.
Yes, happiness. Of course. Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative and interesting session. You have given a detailed description of the importance of correct posture, healthy joints, and overall health in one's life, and especially in the life of dancers. And what exactly is the role of osteopathy in all this? एक्चुअली तो बात ये है कि हम सब जानते हैं, हम सभी जानते हैं कि एक्सरसाइज के क्या मायने हैं, योगा के क्या मायने हैं, है ना, और रेगुलरिटी के क्या मायने हैं. लेकिन बस बात वही है कि हम इफ्स एंड बट्स ढूंढते हैं, ये इसलिए नहीं हो पाया, वो इसलिए नहीं हो पाया, राइट. लेकिन अगर हम अपनी लाइफ में ये चीज़ें उतार लें, नियमित रूप से बैलेंस्ड फूड लें और नियमित रेगुलरली हम एक्सरसाइज करें, तो ज़रूर ही हम सभी अच्छी सेहत पाएंगे, और जो भी हम अपने अपने क्षेत्र में कर रहे हैं वो और भी बेहतर ढंग से कर पाएंगे. सो वंस अगेन थैंक्स अ लॉट सर, थैंक यू सो मच. एंड वन मोर थिंग, ये मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से बता रही हूँ कि एक सेइंग है, लिसन टू योर बॉडी, राइट. आपकी बॉडी आपको सिग्नल्स देती है. अगर आपकी कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है बॉडी में, कुछ भी छोटी छोटी, तो कभी भी अपना एक छोटा सा भी सिग्नल को कभी भी इग्नोर मत कीजिए, उसको उसका ध्यान देके उस प्रॉब्लम का निवारण कीजिए. गो एंड सी अ डॉक्टर, टेक एन अपॉइंटमेंट और उसका आप उसका ट्रीटमेंट कीजिए. एंड बस फिर खुशियाँ ही खुशियाँ. हाँ जी.
Because I didn't, I had a different topic, but after there are very informative exercise, lecture, I feel like sharing one personal thing which can help all of you. Like in Kathak, we are asked to do Tatkar footwork, and right is very strong than left. When you were explaining, it's so true. You are hitting right, then you are hurting, pressing tissues, nerves, whatever, right side. So what we do as a Kathak dancer, you can also apply that. Do the same thing with your left foot. Do the same thing with your left foot. Try to put the emphasis same way, similar way. Dha. So start Tatkar from your left foot, with your left foot. Emphasize there. Try to do both sides actions. If this hand is here, try to move this hand here. Mostly dancers, they design on the right side. That's very disbalanced dance. So, if you are designing here, try to design here. Physically good, visually good, and that will, I think, that's balance as you said. That's the key. Balance. We can't afford to have on one foot or the other foot. And the regularity, especially आपके क्वेश्चन पे, आप कितने बजे उठते हो? 7 बजे, 6 बजे?
मुझे?
हाँ जी.
बताना सही रहेगा?
वो असल में ये है कि रात को बहुत रियाज करते हैं तो सुबह फिर लेट उठते हैं.
हाँ, समझ सकते हैं. चलिए मान के चलते हैं 8 बजे उठते हैं या 7? चलिए 7 बजे उठते हैं.
मान लेते हैं.
7 बजे उठते हैं. एक दिन आप अपने से प्रण करिए कि आज मैंने 6:30 उठना है. अलार्म को बंद नहीं करिएगा, उठ पड़िएगा. अलार्म 6:30 उठ जाइए.
लेकिन मैं मोबाइल लेके तो सोते हैं, जब बजता है बंद करके फिर सो जाते हैं.
प्रण कर. हाँ. I had a knee injury 2 years ago.
अच्छा.
मैंने किसी वर्कशॉप में ये अपनी पर्सनल इंजरी की बात नहीं की है, लेकिन मेरा मकसद अपनी इंजरी को बताना नहीं है. मेरा मकसद है आपको इंस्पायर करने का कि कितने ऑड्स के अगेंस्ट हम अपने को सही रखने के लिए आगे आते हैं. मैं जॉगिंग बहुत ज़्यादा शुरू करती थी कोविड में, क्योंकि जिम वगैरह सब बंद था, स्विमिंग बंद थी, और मैं बहुत रेगुलरली सब जगह जाती हूँ. तो मैंने जॉगिंग बहुत ज़्यादा शुरू कर दी और बहुत अनइवन सरफेस पे की, अनफॉर्चुनेटली. तो लिगामेंट ब्रेक हुआ राइट नी का. 12 दिन तक मैं क्रचेस पे थी हॉस्पिटल में. मैं ऊपर अपने बेडरूम में नहीं जा सकती थी, नीचे ड्राइंग रूम में सोफे पे सोती थी. नी को मूव नहीं कर सकती थी. महाराज जी से फेस टाइम करती रहती थी, उनको एक्सप्लेन करती थी. महाराज जी ने कहा हड्डी तो नहीं टूटी है ना, तो जल्दी हो जाएगा. मैंने कहा नहीं महाराज जी, डॉक्टर ने ये कहा है कि हड्डी जल्दी जुड़ जाएगी, लिगामेंट में टाइम लगेगा. एंड आई एम नॉट इन माई 20s, सो इट विल टेक मोर टाइम. फॉर्चुनेटली गॉड हैज सेंट एन इन माई लाइफ. Just a week before I had the injury, she started her lessons. So we just happened to chat कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं. मैं बैठ के तो कभी सिखाती नहीं हूँ. She was surprised कि मैं बैठ के सिखा रही हूँ. मैं खड़ी नहीं हो पा रही थी, और कोई फोर्स नहीं था मुझे सिखाने के लिए कि सिखाना ही है. मेरे हस्बैंड ने तो कहा कि नहीं सारी क्लासेस बंद करो. मैंने कहा नहीं, क्लासेस भी बंद हो जाएंगी तो मैं तो बिल्कुल ही डिप्रेस्ड हो जाऊँगी. ऑनलाइन है तो कम से कम मैं फेस देख के कुछ बोल रही हूँ, पढ़ंत कर रहे हैं, कुछ ताल बाल का हो जाएगा. Then I asked her, is it all right if I sit and teach? She said, most welcome, we will do some theory. And then she introduced Gerhard, that he is an osteopath. God sent. Yes, and then Gerhard kindly shared his 40 minutes on Zoom. The time when I couldn't have
एन अपॉइंटमेंट विद द डॉक्टर कोविड में, और इंग्लैंड में तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम थी। यहाँ पे फिर भी डॉक्टर तक अप्रोच करना बहुत आसान होता है, आपके पास में भी है, आप जा सकते हो बिना अपॉइंटमेंट, प्राइवेटली है वो, वहाँ पे बहुत प्रोसेस होता है क्योंकि वहाँ पे फ्री हेल्थ सर्विस है, तो वहाँ पे प्रायोरिटीज़ फ़र्क होती हैं। सो Gerhard gave me some tips and that helped me a lot. Like how do you stand in kitchen if I'm cooking, working? So my this ligament was broken and I had a lot of swelling. So in the kitchen I was standing like this, like lifting my right, because I thought I was fearful of pressing it more and it was painful, very, very severely painful. So I was standing like this and walking. Whenever I was stopping, washing dishes, right foot slightly higher. So he asked me, how do you stand in the kitchen? Because ladies spend most of the time in the kitchen. And he said, no, put weight on your both feet. तो बड़े डरते डरते इस पे पैर पे वजन डाला, पैर पे वजन डाल के धीरे धीरे बैलेंस शुरू किया। रियाज भी करती हूँ, अब स्विमिंग भी करती हूँ, जिम भी जाती हूँ। जॉगिंग आई एम ट्राइंग टू अवॉइड, बट आई वॉक अलॉट। कहने का मतलब है कि 2 साल पहले मैं सोच नहीं सकती थी कि मैं पैर मार भी पाऊंगी कि नहीं मार पाऊंगी, लेकिन जस्ट विद द राइट पोस्चर एंड ऑब्वियसली विद लॉट ऑफ डिसिप्लिन। स्नोफॉल में भी 6 बजे उठ के स्विमिंग जाती हूँ, इसीलिए मुझे बस ये दिखता है कि मुझे नाचना है। तो आप मोबाइल पे अलार्म लगाते ना, तो एक बार में ही उठ जाइए और उस दिन सोचिए, आप मुझे दुआएं दोगे कि आपने ये बात मुझे बताई, बिल्कुल कमिटमेंट के साथ कि नहीं मैं आज से मैंने सूर्य नमस्कार करना है या एक्सरसाइज करनी है। आपको उसका फिर एडिक्शन हो जाएगा, फिर आप उसके बगैर रह नहीं पाओगे। सूर्य नमस्कार करना ही है, उसमें पूरा स्ट्रेच होता है, उसमें बेंडिंग होती है, ये नी को छूना है, लेट के करना है, फिर उसमें भुजंगासन भी आता है और सब पूरा उसका चक्र रहता है। और उसको धीरे धीरे करके आप डेवलप करिए, आप देखिएगा कितना आपको फ़ायदा होगा। हमें अपने शरीर का फ़ायदा खुद हम ही दे सकते है ना। और सितार के लिए वो शायद समझ नहीं पा रहे थे, इसलिए मैं बता रही हूँ कि जैसे राइट को आप मोड़ के बैठ के सितार बजाते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली आप 4 घंटा बजाते हैं, 5 घंटा बजाते हैं, ज़्यादा भी बजाते होंगे। थोड़ी सी देर के लिए उसका ऑपोजिट करके देखिए। हम जब एक्सरसाइज करते हैं, स्ट्रेचिंग करते हैं, तो मेरा एक अपना बॉडी का एक सेट है, मैं 40 मिनट तक स्ट्रेचेस करती हूँ ऑल्टरनेट डेज पे रेगुलरली स्विमिंग के बाद। तो स्ट्रेचेस में अगर मैंने ये हाथ उठा के यहाँ पे किया, तो डेफिनेटली लेफ्ट उठा के राइट पे करना है। बैलेंस्ड करिए एक्सरसाइज, दोनों तरफ से करिए। ऐसे स्पाइन का ट्विस्ट है तो दोनों तरफ से करिए, नेक का है तो दोनों तरफ से करिए, दोनों तरफ से करिए, क्योंकि राइट भी आपका है, लेफ्ट भी आपका है। तो सितार के लिए शायद ये यूज़फुल होगा। और थोड़े दिन पहले कॉन्सर्ट था, शाहबाज भाई तबला बजा रहे थे, वो कहने लगे मेरी बैक बहुत प्रॉब्लम दे रही है। तो बड़ा दुख हुआ कि तबले का तो काम ही है बैठ के बजाना, और आप लोगों को तो घुटना मोड़ के बजाना है, हाथ की भी पावर चाहिए। तो कलाकार को तो ज़्यादा एक्सरसाइज चाहिए, और आप उसको करेंगे तो आप उसका फ़ायदा खुद ही महसूस करेंगे। 2 साल में मैंने ये करके दिखाया, कोई बिलीव नहीं करता था, ये भी ताज्जुब में था कि कैसे कर पाओगे, और मैं वहाँ से अब यहाँ करने के लिए। सो प्लीज़ डू इंस्पायर योरसेल्फ।
थैंक यू मैम। मैं भी बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ आपकी इन सभी बातों से, क्योंकि ये चीज़ें मैंने भी अपनी ज़िंदगी में उतारी हैं और उनसे बहुत सुख पाया भी है। यानी कि एक पौष्टिक भोजन, पौष्टिक आहार तो लेना ही है, और अपने बैलेंस बना के रखना है, और रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज विद स्ट्रिक्ट डिसिप्लिन, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो जब हम कोई भी चीज़ रोज़ करते हैं, चाहे ढीठ बन के करें, तो वो हमारी खुद ब खुद ही हैबिट बन ही जाएगी। तो वो रोज़ाना के हमारे रूटीन में आ ही जाएगी। तो इसलिए आप सभी को भी, अगर आने वाले वक्त में भी खूब तंदुरुस्त रहना है और अपने क्षेत्र में और भी ज़्यादा आगे बढ़ना है, तो ये चीज़ें ध्यान में रखते हुए इन्हें ज़रूर जीवन में उतारिएगा। सो इसी के साथ ही हम आज का जो दूसरा सेशन है इसे संपन्न करते हैं और अब हम मिलेंगे कल के सेशन में, जो कि ठीक 10 बजे शुरू कर दिया जाएगा, ठीक 10 बजे। ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच वंस अगेन, थैंक्स अ लॉट।